everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the best Commander cards that win games out of nowhere. This is a fun one. Let's jump into it. So, first up, I just want to talk about the card that inspired this episode. If you haven't heard, big news this week, well, or within the week, I guess. Anyways, Coalition Victory has been unbanned. This card is finally Commander playable at this point, and its price, of course, shot up absurdly. It's a $16 card now. That being said, it is most definitely a card that can win the game out of nowhere. It does require some setup, but I would say pretty minimal setup. That being said, it can be stopped. It's not a card that's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they unbanned this. No, I'm fine with them unbanning it. I think it's completely fine. Let's actually read the card first. Maybe I should have done that. A sorcery for 8 mana in total in Wooburg. That's 1 mana of all colors, if you didn't know. You win the game if you control a land of each basic land type and a creature of each color. Basically, hey, are you playing 5 color? Cool. Can you fix your mana properly? Cool. Or have lands that have different types. Yeah, okay, cool. And then, do you have a commander that, is all 5 colors? Yeah, probably. I mean, unless it's like Coyote or, Kenny, obviously. Then yeah, most likely if you're in a 5-color commander deck, your commander is already all 5 colors. You win the game. So again, the setup is definitely pretty minimal for the most part, and it is a card that you might see pretty often, I would say. I mean, like, there's not going to be decks, not every deck's going to be, like, built around just like, okay, like, tutor for this, play, I win, every game. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some out there. That being said, yeah, it's definitely a card that can, I think, for a little while, take players, I mean, just out of nowhere, essentially, where it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot that this is now legal. I wasn't expecting you to just have, 6 lands in play. You probably have 8 lands in play, right? If you're cast this, you're in a green deck, right? That's how you're ramping. I mean, unless you got like Soul Ring in play. But yeah, if you get your different lands in play, you got your commander in play, you cast this, you win the game out of nowhere. It's a very, very exciting card in this format now, and we shall see just how much play it sees. That being said, plenty of other cards to get onto in this episode. Next up, let's talk about another sorcery. Let's just stick with sorceries for a bit, because typically when it comes to like a big, like, I win the game type card, usually they are sorceries. I will mention really quick, like, you're not going to see like a Craterhoof Behemoth on this episode because, like, yeah, it can kind of win out of nowhere, but like you also need like a big board state already. So it's like, oh, they've got 40 creatures in play. Oh my gosh, Craterhoof, I could not have seen that coming. Yeah, you kind of won the game out of nowhere, but kind of not because, like, you already have the board state for it. This one is one that you can win without any kind of a board state at all. In fact, you literally could have nothing in play but lands. Like, I cast this. Do you stop it? No? Okay, I win. The sorcery for 7 mana in total, but if you entwined it, that's 2 more at 9. Choose 1. Search your library for the 2 creature cards, reveal them, put them in your hand, then shuffle, or put up to 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Again, you get both of those if you entwine it, and entwining it is exactly what you're going to do when you're winning this game out of nowhere, essentially, with this card. You're just basically like, okay, I cast this. Anyone stop it? No. Okay. I go get 2 creatures that combo together. I put them in play. I win. Yay! So yeah, definitely an out-of-nowhere card. You are in green. I mean, 9 mana is a decent amount, right? But, like, you're in green. You got plenty of ways to ramp, right? So it's definitely an I-win-the-game-out-of-nowhere type card. That, again, technically takes less setup than Coalition Victory. Slightly more mana, potentially, but less setup. So, yeah, definitely a good card for an episode like this to highlight. Moving on, one of the OG cards I would say that fits this description, Insurrection, a sorcery for 8 mana in total in red. Untap all creatures and gain control of them until end of turn. They gain haste until end of turn. Now, this one is definitely, in need of some audience participation, let's say. Yeah, if you already have, like, a massive board state, like, okay, this could just be a way to, like, get through on opponents. But this could just be, again, you have literally nothing in play. You have 8 mana, and you're like, oh, okay, everyone else has massive armies. I take the massive armies, and they are mine now, and I swing, and I win. It's definitely like the out-of-nowhere, like, gotcha type card, I win the game. It is a lot of mana again, but yeah, if you're getting late into the game, and everyone's got a big board state, maybe you do as well, but this is definitely a way to break that board state and say, I get everything, I swing with everything, I take everyone out, I win the game. It's in, in original, like, I'd say, like, it probably sees less play these days than it used to. It used to be, like, the biggest way to win the game. There's other ways to do it now, which I'm going to be highlighting in this episode, but it's still an amazing one. Next up, I need to talk about Primal Surge. This is such a unique card and one that is very specific. It's not like throw it in any deck. Like Insurrection, you could throw that in any deck that you want to that has red and be like, okay, it can just randomly win me the game without actually literally building around it. This requires 100% build around. But if you cast it and it goes off, you can 100% win the game every single time it actually resolves. A sorcery for 10 mana in total in green. Exile the top card of your library. If it's a permanent card, you may put it on the battlefield. If you do, repeat this process. The way to win the game, obviously, is the entire deck, except for this card, is literally permanence. Literally having nothing else in the deck. Outside of permanence, you get your entire deck in play. And you better have a way to win in that way. If you don't have a way to win right then and there, you're like, okay, I did it. Amazing. Look at my amazing board state. Do you have a haste enabler? No. Did you have any combos that you just win with right now? No. Okay, pass the... oh, wait, I don't have any cards in my library. I go to draw and I lose the game next turn. Yeah, no. You're going to have either a haste enabler to allow you to swing right away with a massive army, or more likely again, certain combos in there where you have like, okay, yeah, this permanent comes with this permanent. They come into play. I win the game. If you don't have a way to win the game when you've got an all-permanent deck with Primal Surge in it, I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, this is definitely a card where it is kind of an ultimate I win the game type card. But again, you do have to build around this one specifically. Okay, next up, kind of like the, I would say, newer age Insurrection. I feel like this one sees more play than Insurrection these days, but a very good card, absolutely. Insurrection cares about things being in play and having like, okay, everything great's in play. Rise of the Dark Realms is like, hey, everything great's in the graveyard? Okay, cool, awesome. Sorcery for 9 mana in total in black. Put all creature cards from all graveyards on the battlefield under your control. Again, every single creature out there, every single graveyard out there, it's all yours. They're all yours. It's like a permanent Insurrection in a way, but again, depending on the graveyards, not depending on things in play. It does not grant haste, though, I will say that. So, yeah, I mean, there is an opportunity for opponents potentially to stop you if it's like, okay, I get all the great creatures, and the next turn's like a board wipe? Sure, okay, yeah, that didn't actually do the trick. But most of the times it's like, okay, I've got a massive board presence, I just literally am going to win the game, or I'm going to get these massive ETBs that happen, I'm in black, right? Okay, so maybe I have like a Gary in the graveyard, which is like, okay, Gary's back out, oh, it sees all the pips, and all of a sudden I drain people with all that devotion. Yeah, you can definitely like combo win with this as well if things come into play. Again, maybe you have a haste enabler, you can swing right away. Maybe you've got like a Warstorm Surge in play, and you just ping everyone down right away. There's a lot of opportunities to just cast this card and go, I win the game. Even again, if it's not right away, you most likely just win the game. So yeah, Rise of the Dark Realms definitely a great finisher that can win out of nowhere. And again, with literally no board state, even if you don't have a graveyard, if you've got no graveyard, no board state other than just say lands, and you cast this card, there are plenty of times where you still can win the game. Because later in the game, creatures are going to be in graveyards, you steal all of them, and you're going to be in the best position after casting this. Speaking of which, Expropriate! My goodness, yeah, when you're casting this, you're in the best position. You're in the driver's seat of the game. A sorcery for 9 mana in total in blue. Starting with you, each player votes for time or money. For each time vote, take an extra turn for this one. For each money vote, choose a permanent owned by the voter and gain control of it. Exile Expropriate. Here's a hint to any newer players out there. Never, ever, ever give them more extra turns. Ever. Always say money. I don't care what you have in play. I don't care if it's your favorite pet card of all time. You're like, no, you can't take my Ravenous Chupacabra. Or what? I don't know what you have in play. Okay, probably not Ravenous Chupacabra. But still, yeah, being able to essentially say, okay, you get an extra turn, that is absurd. Those are two non-equal things when it comes to, I get extra turn, I steal one thing. Let them steal the thing. Literally, unless it's like, oh, it's a combo card with one of theirs. Even if it's Blightsteel Colossus, you probably want to just give them the Blightsteel Colossus. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe in that case, you're like, okay, take time. That being said, it is incredibly rare to see someone ever lose the game when they cast an Expropriate and it resolves. Because you are, most likely, here's the thing, you're choosing time yourself, obviously. So you get an extra turn, right? Because you're not stealing something from yourself. But you also, most of the opponents, again, are going to be choosing money. Which you'd probably let them choose time, but still, they choose money, you steal one thing each, and you are getting the best permanents. I will say again, your opponents do have a shot at stopping you. Okay, they do have a shot. It is low, but you do have a shot at doing that. If you give them all the time, you give them 4 extra turns or whatnot, or even 2, 3, 4, it doesn't matter. The game's over, okay? So, if you're playing against this card, please, please, please choose money. I don't care what you have in play, again, if it's your favorite card of all time. let the opponent take the thing versus taking an extra turn. Extra turns are incredibly powerful, and yeah, Expropriate, extra turns, and Theft, incredibly OP. So yeah, definitely a card that can just win the game out of nowhere again. Even if that player isn't in a commanding position at all when they cast it, again, they're getting the best thing from each player that they are stealing and getting an extra turn on top of that, usually enough to get them over the top to win the game. Let's move forward, though, with a similar card, somewhat similar to this one. We've got Time Stretch, 10 mana in total in blue. Target player takes 2 extra turns after this one. I don't know why it says target player. There'd be very few opportunities where you're like, I'm playing this game seriously, I'm trying to win, and I give other player over there 2 extra turns. Good for me. Yes, I'm doing so good. No, probably not. Yeah, you are going to be targeting yourself with this, obviously, and you are going to be taking 2 extra turns. And typically, if you're able to string together, I mean, what would be 1 turn that you just had, and then 2 more turns after that, you probably should be able to win the game if you're uninterrupted for 2 turns. So, yeah, you're just going to be able to go pretty crazy with something like this. Taking 2 extra turns is pretty absurd. Taking 1 extra turn is pretty absurd. But yeah, being able to go, okay, I can, take whatever plan I had and add 2 more turns to it, and then, yeah, probably just finish off the game from there. You should be able to do that. It's a card that is so crazy strong because extra turns in a multiplayer game are crazy strong. You are monopolizing the table's time, and you better finish off the game if you are doing just that. Next up, well, one that I need to highlight, which you might not have thought about. Maybe you did. And if you did, comment below and let me know. Repay in kind. I love this card. This is definitely a card can be like a gotcha, like out of nowhere. Like an opponent thinks they're like in a commanding position, especially life gain players. This is really fun to play against. Like, I'm at 500 life. And then you cast this. Oh no. Repay in kind, a sorcery for 7 mana in black. Each player's life total becomes the lowest life total among all players. I love this in my Selenia deck. Basically, if you have any kind of a life setting type card, a life setting type strategy, or again, literally if you just like have a commander maybe that loses you life, essentially, and you're just losing a bunch of life throughout the game, and that's fine, or your plan is to lose life, great, good for you. You want to do that, you get down to a low enough amount, and you take every one of your opponents down to your level. You say, I'm at 1 life. And everyone's like, ha ha ha, we're doing so good at 40 life and they're at 1 life. We're going to beat them. Ha 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 ha. And then you cast this and you're like, everyone's at 1. From there, obviously, you can take out your opponents. I mean, like, you might just get taken out, maybe, but most likely not. With this one, though, again, you cast this and then you have an opportunity again. Everyone's at 1 life or, low amount of life. Oh, okay, cool. I've got a Zulport Cutthroat in play. Awesome. I sacrifice 1 creature. I drain you all. You lose. Or again, if you've got some evasive creatures, I swing through. You lose. This is a great gotcha card, a great I win the game type card. Not for every strategy out there, but it is one that can really turn the table on its head entirely. Just a fun card to play. If you ever see people's reactions, when they're like, I'm at 40 life, I'm doing great, I'm in the driver's seat, and you cast like, oh no, this game went completely in a different direction than I thought it would. Everyone down to 1, 2, 3, 4 wild life. It doesn't matter. You're going to be able to take them all out right then and there. Definitely a great finisher card. Moving forward, though, one of my favorite cards of all time, so much of a favorite that I've actually built 2 separate decks around it. Villainous Wealth, a sorcery for X in Sultai colors. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library. You may cast any of your spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana cost. This card is so much fun. In fact, I will bring up another card that is somewhat similar to this one, but kind of like the reverse in a way. You might know it's off the top of your head maybe at this point. But yeah, basically this was inspired off of, but this one is so much more fun in my opinion, where, yeah, you're just like, okay, I dump a ton of mana into this giant X spell, and I say, you know what? I'd like all of your stuff. Give me all of your things. I want all of the cards off the top of your library. They are mine. I cast them, and I have very rarely lost the game when I have cast them right away. In fact, there are plenty of times where I have just won the game right then and there. Maybe they have a Haste Enabler off the top library. Maybe, again, they have a Warstorm Surge. Maybe they actually have a combo or something that actually combos with something else that you're stealing. With this kind of a card, you just cast something absolutely massive, and you're like, oh, cool, I got all those things? That's awesome. Oh, these things work together? Oh, that works with something I already have in play? Yeah, okay, I win the game. It is an amazingly fun card, especially if you haven't seen my episode on my Joda deck built around this. Please check it out. It is so much fun. My very first iteration of it, not to get on a tangent, but a slight tangent, was a Tassiger build, which was a lot of fun. But then I realized, okay, I was just trying to go for a big X for just one time versus go for a slightly smaller X, but copy it an absurd amount of time. So that entire deck is literally just, okay, get like things like Swarm Intelligence in play, get Villainous Wealth cast for a good amount of mana, like maybe like 7, 8, 9 mana, and then copy it like 3, 4, 5 times with basically other copy spells. And then all of a sudden you're targeting multiple opponents. It's so much harder to stop because they can't just copy or just counter the one spell essentially to stop it. And then you get to like mix and match things from opponents, which is so much fun. So yeah, Villainous Wealth, a lot of fun. If you've never tried it out, go try it out right now. A great finisher that can win the game out of nowhere. And again, even if you're not in a good position right then and there, if you've got mana, you dump it into this, you can steal someone's best cards and win the game just out of nowhere with this. Onward we go, and upward we go with Rite of Replication, a sorcery for 4 mana, but you're never gonna pay I mean, I've seen people pay it, it's fine. But the big play with this one is Kicker for 5, so 9 mana in total. Create a token of create a token that's a copy of a target creature. If the spell is kicked, instead you get 5 of those tokens. So yeah, basically, best creature on the board, you get 5 copies of it. You probably should be able to win the game from then and there. In fact, you might just win it right then and there. Again, replication kicked onto a Gary equals your opponents are in a lot of pain. So yeah, you might just win the game literally just right away by getting all those things in play. Or again, you're like, okay, what's the best thing on the board? I get 5 copies of it. I win! Yay! And there's some combos with it too. But that being said, it is such a fun card. It's such a unique card. It's one that's flexible. It can help out in a lot of situations. Again, your opponent could think they're in a big, good commanding position of the board because they've got this really amazing creature. Like, well, look at me go. I'm doing great. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, thank you for having that in play. I appreciate you having that Blightsteel Colossus in play. That's very nice of you. I will make 5 copies of it. Okay. Thank you. Or get an opponent who has a Gary in play. Like, I got Gary, and I just drain people for a lot of my life. Ha ha ha. That's how Gary players talk. Anyways, yeah, then you're like, okay, I get 5 Garys. Okay, let's count that up and how much I'm draining players. I mean, at the very least, right, Gary has 2 pips, so Devotion would be at least 10, I think, right? So that's draining everyone for 10 per Gary. That's 50. And then you'd gain... oh my gosh, 150 life or so, I think? No, that's not right. 250? I don't know. My math right now, my brain's not working in that. No, it's 150. It's times 3. Okay, anyways, Replication is a lot of fun. You can win in so many situations. Go get it! Okay, next up. This one is kind of cheating, okay? Just a little bit, all right? But I wanted to kind of highlight it because I think it's one that, well, players might not realize, just like the impact of this kind of a card. The other ones I've talked about so far, for the most part, require very little setup. This one does require it to be in a deck that, like, it still, in my opinion, takes players out of nowhere because they don't realize it's going to be happening. But, like, you do need some setup on that turn to actually make it work. Molten Psyche is very cool. Sorcery for 3 mana in red. Each player shuffles the card from their hand in their library, then draws that many cards. Metalcraft, if you control 3 or more artifacts, deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of cards they have drawn this turn. That's what the finisher is right there, obviously. And yeah, Metalcraft, very easy to get to these days. I mean, just mana rocks in play, treasures in play, food, whatever it's going to be. Okay, cool. You got those things in play. You get the Metalcraft, and all of a sudden, this turns into a, instead of just a wheel, basically, again, everyone says, hey, you know what? Yeah, basically get rid of your hand and then replace it with whatever you had. All of a sudden, you're like, okay, do that, but also an absurd amount of damage. Again, based on the total number of cards drawn that turn. So essentially, you're like, okay, wheel, Molten Psyche wheel. Yay! So much fun! Everyone's gone! Yay! And of course, with like damage doublers, damage triplers, it can be even less than that. But yeah, basically, it is a card in a wheel deck that can just come out of nowhere that just works as a wheel normally if you need it, but also it just like a, oh, I just happen to finish everyone off. Cool! That was fun! Did everyone have a good time? Oh, you didn't have a good time? I'm sorry. Well, let's do it again! Yay! Maybe next time you'll have a better time with Molten Psyche. Time to shift gears, though. Genesis Wave. Now, I did kind of allude to this one. You probably have that on top of your head as well. But Villainous Wealth, I kind of alluded to this one. Sorcery for X and 3 green. Reveal, I say X and 3 green, but it's X green, green, green technically, right? It's not 3 and a green. Reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of permanent cards with mana value X lesser among them on the battlefield. Then put all the cards revealed this way that weren't on the battlefield into your graveyard. It's kind of like a combination of Primal Surge and Villainous Wealth, kind of like from cards I've talked about so far. But it's like, okay, I just dump a ton of mana into that and I hit things off the top. Obviously, I mean, this could put you in an incredibly commanding position or literally, again, just win you the game. One of the things is, again, those permanents are going to be put into play untapped. So yeah, you get lands off the top of your library as well with this, so definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, if you get 2 combo creatures, if you have a haste enabler in play already, or you get a haste enabler and you just get a ton of giant creatures off the top, like Blade Claws, okay, I swing. Yeah, it does require some setup in that you need mana to actually make this work. I mean, all these giant X spells do. That being said, it's one where you could have no board position at all. You all of a sudden cast this in your top dog, and you take everyone else out right away. So yeah, Genesis Wave, definitely an oldie but a goodie, a great finisher with some great new art too. So make sure you pick it up. Just 41 cents right now with that reprint. Okay, next up, Triumph of the Hordes. I am somewhat cheating with this one. Again, I did kind of say earlier, like, create a Hook Behemoth. Am I right? Yeah, okay, I understand that you can win with that. Yes, like, you have to have a board position. You do need somewhat of a board position with this one as well. I would just say, like, less of a board position than you typically need when it comes to, like, oh, okay, I pump my team, I finish. You kind of just need, well, I mean, you need a decent amount of power out there, too, but, like, you don't need, like, an overwhelming number of creatures, potentially. Sorcery are 4 mana and green. Until end of turn, creature control get ++1, gain trample, and most importantly, Infect. Yes, Infect can turn this into an oh I win the game type card. Again, maybe not completely out of nowhere. You do definitely have to have some things in play to do so, but again, your opponents might think they're safe until they're not. Literally, it's like, okay, yeah, my creatures, maybe there's some giant ones that don't have any kind of evasion or trample, they can't get through. All of a sudden, yeah, they all can get through now, and they've got Infect. They're going to be able to take players out with this. So it can definitely be a good, like, I take out a couple players, I take out all the players, I win the game type card. There's a reason why this is $15. Wizardry printed, it's an uncommon, come on, just put it in a standard set these days. That won't cause any problems, right? Alright, buckle up for this next one. We've got Living Death. I love the art on this one. Anyways, so this is kind of like a adjacent-ish card to Rise the Dark Realms, which we already talked about, but somewhat different in that it's just kind of funny in how this works. Sorcery for 5 mana in total. Each player exiles all creature cards from their graveyard, then sacrifice all creatures they control, then puts all cards they exile this way onto the battlefield. Basically, swap what's in play with what's in the graveyards, essentially is what this does. Now, this one is kind of funny versus Rise of the Dark Realms because, again, the players that have commanding board positions think they're in a good spot. And you're like, oh, okay, you thought you were in a really good spot? How's your graveyard doing? Why? I don't know. All right, nothing in there. Okay, well, that's good. All right. My graveyard's just jam-packed full of creatures. All right, let's cast this. Living Death all of a sudden swaps everything out. Again, you might have some massive ETBs. I keep bringing up Gary, apparently, with all these, but Grey Merchant of Asphodel. Yeah, great ETB to just go, okay, I win. Yeah, I just drain everyone out. You can definitely, like, aristocrat style, drain people to win with other things as well. You can have a haste enabler again that lets you swing right away. Yeah, there are plenty of different ways with Living Death all of a sudden just swapping out again your opponent's position kind of with yours. I mean, yes, there are times where your opponents have a decent graveyard too, but more likely than not, you're built around this, you are setting this up, your graveyard base, and you're saying, okay, let's just swap out what's in play with what's in the graveyards, and I'm going to win from there. Definitely an out-of-nowhere card that can, again, really flip the tables on your opponent by flipping basically what's in play and what's in the graveyards. You're not ready for this next one because Mob Rule is here to stay. I love Mob Rule. This is such a fun card. Sorcery for 6 mana in red. Choose one. Gain control of all creatures with power 4 or greater until end of turn. Untap them. They gain haste until end of turn. Or gain control of all creatures with power 3 or less until end of turn. Untap them. They gain haste until end of turn. Yeah, this one is, in my opinion, still very underrated. I think I talked about this, like, a long time ago on, like, you know, like, underrated, like, budget cards, and, like, it still does not see all that much play. Go pick it up. It's amazing. I love this card. I mean, it's seeing more play these days than it used to, but still. This is a card where it's kind of like a mini Insurrection in a way, or it's kind of like the exact same thing as Insurrection in certain circumstances. Again, if you're just playing against, you know, a bunch of, like, small, low-to-the-ground, like, token strategies, you're like, okay, I steal all the small creatures. If you're playing against some bigger, beefier creatures, maybe like a dragon deck or two, you're like, okay, I steal all the giant creatures. Whatever you need to steal, you steal it, and all of a sudden, again, you leave your opponents wide open for the most part, or completely wide open, you swing through, you take them out. So again, mini Insurrection is usually enough to do it and take players out. It's an absolutely fantastic card, budget-friendly as well, and just so much fun. Go pick it up right now. Actually, I should have mentioned there too. There is a cardless link in the description below for all these cards I'm bringing up in this episode in case you want some cards that just win out of nowhere. Okay. I had to bring this one up, and I'm sure many of you were just like, why hasn't he talked about this yet? Yeah, well, I was getting there, okay? All right, I promise. Torment of Hellfire is an absurd finisher. Sorcery for Well, I just looked at the price. $18, nearly 19. My goodness. But X black, there you go. Repeat this process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discards a card. Here's the thing. This is going to win one way or the other. Either you are, well, I mean, making your opponent sacrifice enough things or discard enough things that they just, like, lose because they have nothing else in play or in their hand ever again and they're just gone. Or, again, you actually drain them out because you put enough mana into it, or they drain themselves enough to try to keep certain things in play that they're gone. So, yeah, this is definitely an out of nowhere. You could have nothing in play. You just have a bunch of mana, essentially, and you just cast this. And it's like, I was in the least commanding position. Now I'm either in the driver's position, about to win the game, or I already have won the game by casting this. There's a reason why this finisher is $19 or so. Wizards, reprint it. Although I don't know if I need more games where I'm going up against this card where it takes me out. But yeah, reprint it, please. Here comes a spicy one, though, because if you're more like me and you're like, I like the budget-friendly version, it's very good, too. Let's go with Death to the Netlist. Now, you do need to be in an Orzhov deck versus, anything that just has black, but still, Sorcery for X and Orzhov colors, 4 mana in that in total. Each opponent loses 2 times X life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. Yeah, I mean, 2 times does a lot of work for you there, but yeah, if you're putting a decent amount of mana into this, you're like, okay, I drain you all for an absurd amount. I'm either finishing you off right now, and Exsanguinate's another one. I'm not going to keep bringing up all those, but Exsanguinate definitely one as well. But yeah, this one's like, okay, yeah, I either finish you all off, or you're very low, and I pad my life total to oblivion. So unless you repay in kind me, which I already brought up earlier in the episode, a fun card, yeah, I'm in the driver's position to win, or I already did win with this one. So yeah, definitely a great X-Spell finisher for a lot of decks out there. Get ready for what's coming up next, because you might not even know that this card exists, though, with Twilight's Call, a source for 6 mana in total, but it can cost 8 if you'd like it to, and not for nothing, but it makes it basically instant speed. Each player returns all creature cards from their graveyard to the battlefield. Now, this one is one that's kind of like a weird combination of, like, Living Death and Rise of the Dark Realms, which I already talked about, but, like, it's like, okay, you give everyone back their creatures out of their graveyards. They get those creatures. You're not stealing them. You just get to basically say, hey, everyone, let's take the graveyards and bring them in play. You're not making anyone sacrifice their board state like Living Death. That being said, yeah, just reanimating all the creatures out of your graveyard, there are plenty of ways for you to just win the game right then and there. Again, like I talked about in, say, like a combo version. You've got a couple different creatures that combo in your graveyard. Cool. Gary, just going to keep coming back up, apparently. Yeah, Graybridge Fastfill, ETB. ETB is like that, which drain or burn or whatnot when it comes into play. You can win from there as well. Or get an aristocrat-style strategy. We're like, okay, I get all these creatures back out of my graveyard. They all have all these triggers. I sacrifice them all. Zulport Cutthroat, Blood Artist type things. I drain opponents out. I win the game. And this can all be done, again, instant speed out of nowhere. Again, I've talked about just Sorcery so far. This is one that can come out of nowhere and just be like, oh, yeah, I've cast Twilight's Call. And they're like, huh, what is that? That's a weird card. I've never heard of that before. And you're like, yeah, everyone gets their graveyards back. Oh, sweet, look at my things in my graveyards. I get it back. What? You're just a fool for spending 8 mana to give me my graveyard. Oh, wait. You've got all those things? You've got all those things? Okay. I guess you win. I shuffle up for another game. Okay. Yeah, Twilight's Call can definitely come out of nowhere and take players by surprise. Pick it up now. Things are just heating up, though, with, I think this is our last Sorcery, but I could be wrong on that, so my apologies if I'm wrong on that. But Epic Experiment, a Sorcery for X and Is It colors. Exile the top X cards of your library. You may cast instant sorcery spells with mana value X or less from one of them without paying their mana cost. Then put all cards exiled this way that weren't cast into your graveyard. This one is so much fun. Okay, so this is kind of like, again, basically like Genesis Wave-ish, but for instance in sorceries. This can be a lot of fun, and again, there are certain instant sorceries that do combo with each other. Yes, there's also other things that are finishers that you could hit. Technically speaking, I guess you could hit all the other finishers I've already talked about. I guess the X spell finishers would not work with this, though, obviously, just casting those for free. But still, this is one where, yeah, you can dump a ton of mana into it, hit the right things, and you just win the game. Obviously, you need to be most likely, in a deck that is heavy Spellslinger, heavy with big instants and sorceries that have a lot of value, or again, just winning the game. If you just hit like a bunch of extra turn spells, again, you win the game. So yeah, this is definitely one where it's for the right strategy out there, but again, doesn't take like any setup at all. You just put up on a bunch of mana on this and you just cast, you're like, oh, okay, I hit all these things. Wow, I get 5 extra turns. Awesome, cool. Yeah, you win the game. Wait until you see this one. We are jumping into the instance, and I had to bring up Tainted Strike. Used to be a card that was under $1. I don't think Wizards going to reprint this one anytime soon. An instant for a single black mana. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains Infect until end of turn. My goodness, is this fun for you. This is a card that literally for 1 mana, you can just ruin someone's game entirely. 1 mana, it doesn't have to be your turn, doesn't even have to be, you don't even have to be involved at all, really at all. You just like have 1 extra black mana lying around, and an opponent attacks another opponent with a pretty beefy creature, and they get through, and you're like, huh, yeah, wait, how much power does that creature have? Oh, 9, why do you ask? Oh, and that player didn't block? No, they couldn't. They had flying or whatnot. Oh, okay. Yeah, I cast Tainted Strike for 1 mana, targeting that creature. Yeah, you just took that player out for 1 mana out of nowhere. And again, you weren't literally involved at all up until that. You're just like, oh, yeah, I'm just watching this. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, that player just took that player out. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, Infect is fun. Surprise Infect, very fun for you. And of course, obviously with your own creatures, yeah, it's being like a very good gotcha type card to take a player out. I guess unlike many of the other cards I brought up so far, though, this is like you're taking 1 player out. Yes, technically that isn't like an I win the game type card, though I could say that, no, okay, well, anyways. Being able to just take out 1 player with Infect, that is a good, like, I take that 1 player out, and later in the game, it is definitely like I took out the last player, so there you go, okay? That being said, it's a lot of fun. Surprise Infect, everyone loves it. Yay, go pick it up. Now, this one's worth your attention. False Cure is so fun. Especially because in today's meta, life gain decks are very abundant. There's a ton of life gain decks out there. I think it's like the 5th most popular strategy out there right now, according to DHREC. Anyways, instant for 2 black mana, black. Until end of turn, whenever a player gains life, that player loses 2 life for each 1 life they gained. This is a card that, again, you literally don't have to do anything. This card can just win the game itself just by taking out, taking out 1 player, most likely, of course. There are definitely ways that you can take out all players. There are ways to force life gain on all players where you cast this for 2 mana. You're like, oh, okay, you were going to gain life. Now you lose 2 life for every 1 life you're going to gain. There are definitely combos that work with this, but this can just be a way you're like, oh, a player is about to gain like 100 life. Oh, good for them. They're doing like cast like Congregate. They're doing like really crazy things. Good for them. All of a sudden, like, no. You lose twice that much. So it's definitely a good gotcha out of nowhere card that can finish off 1 player, multiple players, depending on how you're using it. Things are just heating up though, because next up we've got Ink Shield. This is a card. Oh my goodness. Instant for 5 mana in total in Orzhov. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt to you this turn. For each 1 damage prevent this way, create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. This is one where it's like, okay, you could be in the worst position of all time. You could have no board, all right? You're in no board. You are in dire straits. You're just like, oh, I don't know what's happening. Oh, no. Okay, I top deck this. You're like, oh, and then you act like you're still doing battle. Oh, no. I only have 5 mana, nothing on the board, and I'm at a very low life total. Actually, maybe I'm at 20. Whatever it is. I'm at 20. Oh, no, I'm wide open. Okay. And then all of a sudden, like, players start attacking you. Like, let's just say the last player attacks you. This is obviously a perfect scenario, but still, the last player right before you attacks you for an absurd amount, like, I'm going to finish them off. And you're like, okay, yeah, I fog, and I get, like, 22 flyers. So this is definitely a way where you can, again, you're not winning the game right away with this, potentially. I mean, I guess you could if you had, like, Blood Artist in play with, like, a sack outlet, sure. Or, like, Warstorm Surge or whatnot. But most likely you're like, okay, I save myself, I make a massive evasive army, and I'm going to win the game from there. So I may be cheating a little bit with this one, but the instants you kind of have to cheat a little bit because there's very few ways to just go instant speed, I win the game. But yeah, Ink Shield, a great one. Let's zero in on this next big one, though, because here's an instant speed one that I have definitely won the game with plenty of times, just outright. And actually, it kind of just even works as sorcery speed for you. Like, I think most of the times I'm just casting this sorcery speed, basically. Reigns of Power, an instant, though being flexible as an instant's amazing. For 4 mana in blue, untap all creatures you control, and all creatures target opponent controls. You and that opponent each gain control of all the creatures the other controls until end of turn. They gain haste until end of turn. An incredibly flexible card. I love this card. Let's just give a different scenario where it's like, okay, if you're going to use instant speed, you can, like, protect yourself. If someone's swinging at you with a massive army, you're like, huh. Okay, I swap armies with this other player, I take their army and I block, and I wipe out both your armies. It's amazing. That being said, yeah, in the scenario where I use it to win, it's mostly my Feldergriff deck where I'm like, I gave you a ton of hippos. You're welcome. Awesome. Cool. You got a giant army with your army plus all the hippos. I steal them. They're mine now. And you get my Feldergriff. Maybe not even. Maybe I bounce my Feldergriff back to my hand with its own ability, and then you literally get nothing. I'm trading you nothing for all of your creatures, and then I swing right away. It's like a 4-mana flexible insurrection in a way. Yes, for just one player, but still. That one player might have the most commanding board position. They might have all the creatures that you need to just finish players off. And many times they have, again with my Feldergriff deck, where I'm just like, take all the hippos. I'm your best friend. Like, thanks for the hippos. I've got 20 of them. Like, good. Okay, now they're all mine. Thank you. And I swing. Yay! With the hippos and all the other things too. Yay! Go pick it up right now. Moving forward, though, one that I can't necessarily recommend picking up because it's so expensive and I'm a budget player, and this is more than, I think, any deck I've really ever built for myself. Yeah, $49 for Hatred. My gosh! Instant for 5 mana in black, pay X life, target creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn. I believe this is on the reserve list. Anyways, it's a crazy effective card. It's kind of like Tainted Strike, kind of in a way of like a gotcha, take a player out kind of thing. This is something where it's like, okay, again, Commander is a format that has some wonky rules compared to, like, regular Standard, essentially, where this is really good in regular Standard, or, you know, it's not Standard, but, you know, those types of formats, like, one-on-one. In multiplayer, when, like, you're at, like, 40 life, and it only takes 21 to take an opponent out with a Commander, this can just be like, oh, yeah, I just have 5 mana lying around, instant speed. Oh, that Commander got through? Is it mine? I don't really care if it's mine or not. Yeah, I pump it. How much? That creature's 5 power. It got through on that opponent. Okay, yeah, I'll pay 16 life and 5 mana. That opponent's gone. Commander damage them out. Yeah, most of the time it is like a commander damage gotcha, like you didn't block my commander, another commander. Cool. You're out of the game. That's kind of what this card is. Technically, this is one, again, where it's like, okay, fine. Most of the time, it is taking one player out, which might not be winning the game, but yeah, definitely can win you the game. But there are scenarios where it's like, okay, like, I've got, again, a commander that has an ability to, like, you know, drain all my opponents, maybe, based on its power or something like that. Just maybe. Or, like, a partner commander that maybe can, like, spread the damage out to other players, too. Or you got, like, a sacrifice thing that, like, drains players. Whatever it is, okay? You can utilize power to, like, win the game in a multitude of ways. So, yeah, Hatred is definitely one where it's instant speed craziness, and that's why it's $50. Here's a card that might surprise you, though. Ratmose Charm. This is a card that literally, it's like, it doesn't take any effort at all to include it in a deck, especially a Ratmose deck, because it's a very flexible card that is budget-friendly, and it can help you out in so many scenarios. Instant for 2 mana in Ratmose, choose 1, exile target player's graveyard, destroy target artifact, or, oh, by the way, every single creature deals 1 damage to its controller. This is a hilarious got you, I win the game type card that, again, you might just even have this in your opening hand. You're like, oh, okay, cool, it's good that it's flexible. And then literally, like, late game, you're like, oh, wait, I can just win the game by paying 2 mana. Cool. Yeah, again, if players build their boards up to a certain state, again, certain token players out there are like, oh yeah, just go so wide. Like, oh yeah, cool, I got all these creatures, good for me. Okay, you got how many creatures in play with your Jetmir deck? Oh yeah, 14. Okay, cool, good for you. Yeah, by the way, I've got like a damage doubler in play or damage tripler, and you're at this life. Okay, you're gone. 2 mana, you're gone. You can take out all players with this card at a certain point, just if you have enough things in play, or if your opponents have enough things in play, obviously. You don't have to have like no setup with this one potentially to even just win the game with it again at instant speed for 2 mana. It is pretty crazy. It's pretty unique, and again, it's not really taking up like a spot in your deck that's like, oh, okay, dedicate this to my surprise, got you, I win the game type card. No, because like with this, you can just go, oh yeah, I can exile a graveyard or destroy an artifact. Both things are very relevant in Commander. Go pick up this great budget finisher for you. This next card might change your perspective on everything. Mirweave, an instant for 4 mana in Azorius. Each other creature becomes a copy of target non-legendary creature until end of turn. This thing is so much fun. I actually just highlighted this on another episode where we talked about jank cards that are actually amazing. This is absolutely amazing, and you might not realize it, but it can win you the game in so many ways. This one might require some setup. I will say that, okay? All right, but again, at the instance, it's kind of, there are only so many ways to win instant speed. It's like out of nowhere, okay? This one is one where it's like, you don't even need that big of a board presence, and you don't have to have the right creatures in play. If your opponent happens to have the right creature in play, you just win the game. You could have like 3 creatures in play, and they're all like 1/1 Thopter tokens. And you're like, okay, yeah, I swing with my Thopters. They're evasive. No one else blocked them. Cool. All right. That player over there has got a Blightsteel Colossus. Okay. Every creature in play is a Blightsteel Colossus. Oh, my Thopters took my opponents out. There you go. Again, you have to have like a very low threshold for like what's in play potentially, except for a massive threat, which might be yours or an opponent's. that changes up everything with this. Again, if you have a commanding board presence already, you have like 10 creatures in play, let's say, even if they're just like little 1/1 squirrels, and then like, I don't know what deck you're playing where you got 1/1 squirrels and you have this too. Maybe. There you go. You have 1/1 squirrels and you're like, okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, that player's got a Blood Artist in play? Awesome. All right. I will Mirweave, and all of a sudden everything is a Blood Artist now, and then I will Wrath the board, and then that wins the game. So again, this is something that can like work with another card to win the game, or again, just happen to win you the game out of nowhere. It's such a flexible card. Absolutely love it. Go check it out. Now, you might never have heard of this one, and to be honest, I kind of forgot about it for a long time as well, but it came up when I was researching for this episode. Batwing Broom. This card is so much fun. I am a sucker for fogs. I love fogs. Maybe it was one of those players back in Standard a long time ago that was playing Turbo Fog, and it's so much fun because you're playing up against like a $1,000 Jund deck, and they're just like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, yeah, here's my 10-cent fog. Fog the board. Yay! Okay, next turn, draw some cards. Fog the board. Yay! Unfortunately, this wasn't legal in Standard when I was playing. That being said, it's an amazing one. Instant for 2 mana and Orza. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt this turn if white was spent to cast it. If each player loses 1 life for each tagged creature they own if black was spent to cast it. Basically, this is a, hey, oh, you just swung at me with a massive army of creatures. You lose the game if you swung with more creatures than your life total. So again, it's only taking out one opponent, sure, but it is one I just needed to bring up. It's a fun, like, gotcha, like, finisher card again in that kind of a scenario. And again, one that's just flexible enough where it's like, okay, it can just be a fog when I need to be a fog. It's an amazingly fun card. Now let's switch things up, though, and talk about some creatures. Okay. Again, I said that I wasn't going to bring up Craterhoof Behemoth, right? Because that is one where you kind of needed like a board state, really. This one, though, Masquerorm, you don't have the board state, your opponents do, and it's their fault that they lost the game when you played this. A 6/5 Phyrexian Worm for 6 mana in black enters your opponent's creatures, get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. Again, literally, just, hey, do you have a bunch of low-to-the-ground creatures? Do you have a low-to-the-ground strategy? Do you have a go-wide strategy with a bunch of tokens or whatnot? Most likely, this ETB's takes everything out, every single thing out, and all of a sudden your opponent's going to lose 2 life per creature taken out. This just takes 1 ETB to do it. You might have other ways to ETB it further, or you've got like, you know, an ETB doubler, or you've got like, you know, a Wrath effect. Maybe you just Wrath the board, and you're like, okay, take them out. All of a sudden, yeah, this is a card that drains opponents so quickly, it can definitely take out, again, every single of your opponents at once, just for literally just playing this card. You could be in no position at all to win the game. You're like, oh, everyone else has a giant board state, and I've got nothing. You're like, okay, I play Masquerorm. Oh, I win. Oh, cool. Awesome. Thanks, Phyrexian Worm. Look at that smile on your face. Oh, yeah, I win. Moving forward, though, one that you maybe have never seen, and maybe you've never played against me because I've used this card plenty of times because, yeah, I mean, it's a weird tutor that also just happens to do something janky. Netherborn Valnix, a 2/4, that costs 6 mana in total, and it's got Transmute for 1 black. Let's talk about it really quick. So discard it, search life for anything that costs 6, put in your hand, then shuffle. Only sorcery speed, but basically an uncounterable tutor unless the opponent has like a stifle, which can stop it basically. But yeah, you're not casting it, so you basically have an uncounterable tutor for 3 mana. Yes, specifically, but I love Transmute. It's specific, but yeah, okay, go get something that costs 6. If I build my deck around something that costs 6, good for me. That being said, it can just be a good like, oh, well, I haven't tutored for anything, but my opponents have enough creatures in play that I just win on the ETB. Enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life for each creature they control. Again, they can literally just be like, do you have more creatures than your life total? Which happens plenty of times. Okay, you lose the game. Obviously, you can use and abuse ETBs very easy with this too. I mean, with the right deck, I should say, and just win from there. Maybe you've got like a Wound Reflection in play, like doubles up the life loss too. Yeah, there's plenty of ways to win with this one. And again, it's just a fantastic tutor for the right deck too. That's just like, oh, but actually, I kind of want to cast this right now because I'll just win. Good for me. Okay, so I am maybe cheating a little bit on this one, but Ink Treader Nephilim is definitely a card that can just win the game, just out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, I will say. It doesn't win the game on its own, though. I will say that as well, okay? So a lot of the ones I brought up so far, like, I've tried to bring up ones that are like, okay, it wins you on its own. It's not like a combo piece, potentially. Like, it could win with a combo, maybe, but, like, this one is one where, yeah, you don't just win by playing it, but, like, every single time I've gotten this in play, I've just won, because that's just kind of how this works. 3/3 Nephilim for 4 mana, everything but black. Whenever a player plays an instant or sorcery spell, if it's the only target of that spell, copy the spell for each other creature that spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. This is another one of those decks that I never play anymore. I brought this up on a few episodes, but yeah, my Prismatic Bridge Inkshredder Nephilim deck, go look it up. It is gross, disgusting, and amazing all at the same time, and it's a deck that I will never play again unless I literally, like, again, like, it's the last game of the night, everyone's like, Brian, your most powerful deck, or whatever, like, or one of your most powerful decks, like, we want to make it quick. This is one that's, like, everyone's okay with it happening if it does, because basically, you're just like, okay, I get this in play. How many creatures are on the board? You don't even have to have anything on this board. You literally don't have anything on the board. How many creatures on the board? Okay, cool. Yeah, and actually, I need to bring up in my Prismatic Bridge deck too. You get it in play for free because there's only creature on the deck essentially. So you just get off the top library from the Prismatic Bridge trigger, and then you have all the mana that you need for that turn too. But yeah, you literally go, okay, all right, cast this one spell that targets Inkshredder Nephilim. That, you know, it's like Expedite, cool. Like it gets haste and I draw a card. Oh wait, but that copies for every single creature on the board, which again I think it was 20. Okay, so I spent 1 mana to draw 20 cards. Cool. All right, now I cast this other spell that like costs 2 mana, and it gives this creature +2/+0, and I make a treasure token. Oh, for every creature on the board? Okay, I make 20 treasures for 2 mana. You win the game. You just can draw your entire library. You can do all these crazy things. You can steal every creature. You can, like, again, any threat and effect is basically insurrection with this. Yeah, again, it takes more than 1 card to win with this, but it is like you get it in play, you win the game with the types of decks that are built around it. So I wanted to bring it up, okay? Now, as this episode is coming to a close, though, again, I will be expecting to see Coalition Victory played a decent amount. Yeah, coming out of the ban announcement, or the unbanning announcement, I should say. And yeah, there are a lot of other cards out there that are like a gotcha, I win the game right away type card. Yeah, you've got your Creative Behemoths, which finish off a lot of games, yes, but you need a board position, right? And plenty of the ones I brought up in this episode, you don't really need a board position to do. I mean, again, like Coalition Victory, it's like, okay, I've got my commander in play. And 8 mana, and I've got 1 of each basic land type. I cast it. I win. Yay! Or again, Tooth and Nail. I just win the game by having 2 creatures in my deck. Cool. There are ways to win the game out of nowhere again, even in the lowest spot of the game for you. Like, oh, I've got nothing going on. I have no board. I just have lands. And you're like, okay, I top deck Tooth and Nail, and I win. Yay! So yeah, if you are interested in any of these cards, make sure you check out that card list link in the description below. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.